Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Today we are going to talk about social media, or more specifically, the former president's decision to sue Twitter, Facebook, and Google, alleging that they amount to state actors. On Wednesday, Trump announced the decision in his usual way, arguing that it was a travesty of almost global proportions.
There is no better evidence that big tech is out of control than the fact that they banned the sitting president of the United States earlier this year, a ban that continues to this day, So we get the word out, but it's not a fair situation. Very, very bad for this country, very bad for the world. If they can do it to me, they can do it to anyone.
The decision comes several months after he was banned from Twitter and suspended from Facebook. It also comes from Trump and his allies failing to replace Twitter and Facebook with Parler and Getter, both of whom are struggling to compete with big brands. In the case of Getter, the platform established by Jason Miller, the attempt was utterly laughable. A day after it was launched, the site was overtaken by hackers, releasing emails of several registered accounts. Other accounts popped up, spamming pornography throughout the site. In other words, it was not the free marketplace of ideas they wanted. In a similar vein of failure, Trump's blog, one he created to help boost his reach, shut down after 29 days due to a lack of attention. There's simply no way for them to replace the reach they had on Twitter. So in other words, this is a branding move to hide their failures. By drawing attention to him via the court systems, Trump and his allies continue to fundraise, all while appealing to their base, while pretending that his power over the issue will create any change. It is nothing new, but the fact that a former president is attempting to use the judicial system that he once influenced to secure his desired ends is incredibly concerning. Thankfully, it is likely to fail. PragerU, a right-wing channel run by radio host Dennis Prager, has also tried to sue YouTube for putting some of its video under restricted mode in 2020. PragerU argued that Google and YouTube's large-scale influence threatens conservative content, as if they weren't a channel with nearly 3 million subscribers. After failing to secure the support of the panel overseeing their case, Prager appealed, and that too failed. As the court explained, PragerU runs headfirst into two insurmountable barriers: the First Amendment and Supreme Court precedent. Just last year, the court held that merely hosting speech by others is not a traditional exclusive public function, and does not alone transform entities into state actors subject to First Amendment constraints. The court further elaborated, saying, quote, "The free speech clause of the First Amendment prohibits the government, not a private party, from abridging speech. The free speech clause prohibits only governmental abridgment of speech and does not prohibit private abridgment of speech." PragerU does not dispute that YouTube is a private entity that operates its platform without any state involvement. Reading this kind of thing, it's kind of frustrating because on the one hand, I feel bad for the people who fall for these kinds of scams and these kinds of long-term ideological lies. But the truth of the matter is, we all know how this ends. We all know where this goes. And Prager knows it too. If there's any emotion that is to be felt from all of this, it's outrage and annoyance. PragerU in its own lawsuit acknowledged the fact that it was and always has been on a private platform. And yet this lawsuit was their Hail Mary attempt to either remove the restrictions that literally everybody has to deal with, or they had to gin up support from their base without any actual benefit being provided. Of course, Trump and his allies argue that these companies are not private entities, but that will not end well either. The court has also examined that argument, saying that if the argument were to be accepted, it would, quote, "eviscerate the state action doctrine's distinction between government and private entities, because all private property owners and private lessees who open their property for speech would be subject to First Amendment constraints," end quote. The problem with treating these companies as if they are agents of the state, especially as a matter of precedent, is that it distracts from the real solution to dealing with social media companies. Currently, 36 states are suing Google for monopolistic practices through its App Store on Android. Google also faces another suit from the Justice Department and 14 states that accuses Google of dominating online markets along with yet another suit involving several other states who accuse Google of dominating advertising through improper means. These are suits that specifically focus on the dangers of modern social media and media companies, but you won't see this specified criticism from Trump and propagandists like PragerU. And they're not alone in this. People like Alan Dershowitz have also come out and tried to assist in this lie, promoting the idea that this was some incredibly significant civil rights case.
My understanding is you have some of the tobacco attorneys involved in that class action suit involved in this case. Seems like a strong case, but obviously nothing is a slam dunk.
This is the most important First Amendment case of the 21st century, and it's important because it pits freedom of speech on the one hand against the First Amendment on the other hand. That may sound paradoxical, but remember, it's the high-tech giants that are banning freedom of speech. They are censoring, but they're claiming the right to do so under the First Amendment. So they're using the First Amendment as a sword against freedom of speech. That's why I call this the new censorship.
There will be plenty of these right-wing commentators making this claim, overhyping it, and pretending like this case will win when it won't. Acting as though Trump or PragerU are serious about breaking up or reforming the social media environment is a mistake that no reasonable person should make. There are legitimate problems with the current media environment in terms of service, but refusing to have any rules about online content is a non-starter, especially in the face of such widespread conspiracism and violence. When people like Donald Trump and propagandists like PragerU pretend that they fight for free speech, don't believe them. They're selling you a lie so they can avoid the consequences of their actions, and all the while they're robbing you of actual solutions to fix the media environment that we are currently all enduring. If you want to make real change, don't side with people like this. Find solutions with your government and with your representatives. Make real change. Thank you all for watching. If you want to enjoy further content, please check out the videos recommended at the end of the video, or subscribe and like and share this around. I really appreciate all your support, and I look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you and have a nice day.